guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, it's going to be very short and simple because I am just getting back into the swing of things, and I just wanted to talk to you. I normally do a what I got for Christmas video around this time of year, and if you have been following me for a while, you know that I do one every single year, and I have not done one this year. It is because when we actually went to Vegas, and if you want to see footage from Vegas, I don't have it on my channel, but I do have it in a highlight on my Instagram if you want to go follow me there, and you can see all of the stuff that I did that week, because I basically kind of like vlogged while I was there on my Instagram and not on a normal video on YouTube. And so because we had such a huge trip going to Vegas, we decided to do a small Christmas this year, and we basically just got like one big gift and then like little things here and there, and I will show you what my big gift was in just a second. But basically, my name is Kristen. If you have not been following me, I make videos about vlogging my life as a teacher. I film just random stuff like challenges and different things like that. I do my makeup sometimes on here. Just a bunch of different stuff is on this channel, and I've been filming on this channel for a few years now, on and off. I don't really like, I kind of like will go away for like a few months and then come back. But I told myself this year that this is going to be my year that I am going to not miss a week of an upload, unless obviously if I'm like sick or something, I can give you an explanation on that. I'm going to try my hardest to make sure that I have 2 videos up. Mondays and Thursdays is my new schedule. If you looked at my banner, you would see that. I have changed it up a bit with a little silhouette of a girl reading a book, because I'm actually going to start incorporating book vlogs and booktube related videos, which is like the TBRs for each month, and like what I liked about each book, and like basically just keep you updated on what I'm reading this year. So a little backstory on what I got for Christmas. So my mom, this is a really random story, but my mom, when she was pregnant with my brother, like a long time ago, obviously we're like grown now, but when my mom was pregnant with my brother, she started getting like a thing where she did not like the smell of coffee. So anytime that her mom would like brew coffee, because her mom and her dad were both big drinkers of coffee, she would not be able to like be around the coffee machine because it just smelled really nasty to her. And so growing up, we never really made coffee in the house or drank coffee or anything, that type of thing. Well, when I got into high school, I discovered that I actually do really like coffee. And I've always been like, if you've watched any of my vlogs, you know how much I like to go to Starbucks. And I just like to drink coffee. Well, one of the things that I would really like to have is a Keurig, because any coffee person knows that a Keurig is going to save you money, and you can get more for your money instead of going to Starbucks all the time. And so I have always wanted one, and I was like, well, when I get my apartment, which hasn't happened yet, but when I do, I wanted to have my own Keurig, because I knew that I could make coffee at my own place and it wouldn't bother my mom. We ended up going to Vegas this past November. Basically, we went there for SEMA. So if you know what SEMA is, it's a huge, I'm talking huge car show. It's like 6 malls, like huge car show. Like the buildings look like huge malls kind of, but like, and it's just like there's so much walking. It's so much. It is a lot. If you've been, you understand, but not sure if any of my fellow watchers have ever been to SEMA before, but yes, it's like a huge car show and in Vegas, and that's why we went. And then we also went so that we could experience it and like experience Vegas for the first time and that kind of thing. So while we were there, we stayed in like an Airbnb kind of house, and it had a Keurig in it, and my brother and his girlfriend were making coffee, and I was like, oh, I wish I could make some of the coffee in here, but my mom doesn't like the smell of it. And Brandy was like, well, we've been making coffee for like we've made 2 or 3 cups of coffee today, and she has not said one word to us about it stinking or anything. So I was like, well, okay, well, I'm going to start making coffee. So we ended up making coffee the entire week that we were there, and we had no complaints from her about the smell of it. So I was like, that is going on my Christmas list. And that is what I asked for as my big present this year. And then I just got like little things like a shirt and some socks and that kind of thing, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna show you it. I should have filmed me making my coffee this morning, but I didn't. I can show you what it looks like. It's really cool. I am a lover of iced coffee as well as hot coffee, and so I wanted to make sure I got one of the machines that made both. So this is my Keurig that I got. What's my Keurig looks like? You can use iced or hot coffee in it. It's amazing. I love it. Okay, so I actually filmed this January TBR little segment, but then I ended up last minute switching my January TBR a little bit because I realized that there were some books that I didn't want to read, and I kind of wanted to change it up, which I'll talk about. Basically, when I was reading back through my TBR for January, I noticed that some of the books I really wasn't wanting to read, and then also I kind of like have a specific like aesthetic for each month, like what types of books, like a vibe for each month, if that makes sense, of what types of books I want to read each month. And January is kind of, I had Christmassy books, so I read Green Glass House and Ghost of Green Glass House, which is right here, and I can talk about those real fast. Green Glass House is about a boy named Milo that lives in like a bed and breakfast kind of place, and it's called Green Glass House, and he basically ends up like meeting new people that are coming to stay at their place that he's never met before, and they all have like this crazy history within the house that it unfolds throughout the whole book. It's basically a Christmas mystery, and the biggest plot twist was insane, of like what happened with one of the characters that he like becomes really good friends with. It's just interesting how I don't want to give too much away. If you've never read it before, I would highly recommend reading this book because it is so good. I think I mentioned this in the last video that I posted, but this book is so good. And I went ahead and I read Ghost of Green Glass House, which I just actually finished Saturday. Yeah, Saturday morning I finished this one. I absolutely loved it. It's so good. But then I was supposed to read, this one was my next read, which is called Blue Crown, and it's the 3rd book to this series. There's actually 4, and the 4th one comes out not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday. And this one is basically a prequel to the other 2. So it talks about the family that lived there before Milo and his family got the house, like years before. And so it's kind of like a prequel. It's very short, and I could honestly finish this probably in 2 days. But for some reason, I think these books were just too thick of books, and it makes me not really want to finish the series just yet. I'd rather read a different sort of series, and there's actually some reasons why. But so I'm kind of gonna put this one and then the new one that comes on hold until like later in the year, maybe towards like November, December, because it's more Christmassy, you know. I kind of wanted to switch my TBR. So originally my goal was to read 1 book a week, but when I finish a book, usually the last like 2 chapters of a book, if you've ever read a book, are usually like the shortest out of all of them, and I usually will finish them really quickly, and then I have like this whole day where I don't really have, if I'm not like really doing anything that day, they're very kind of like slow days for me. So those are the days I could really easily pick up a book and read it super quickly. So what I thought about doing is, I don't really have like a set, I kind of have a schedule, but not really. But any books that are like super short, like 2 to 300 pages at the most, I can read in like 2 or 3 days, because I could finish, or I could start one on Saturday and read it Saturday, Sunday, or I could start it Friday night and end it on Sunday. It just kind of depends on the book that I'm reading throughout the week. So what I wanted to do was, I wanted to read a book like Monday through Friday, and then start my weekend short read if I have a book to do that with and read that over the weekend, so it's like an extra little book that I can read. And the book that I picked for today, because like I said, I'm not reading, I was supposed to start a book today, which is Sunday, but I don't really want to read this book, so I decided to reread Miley's book because it's such an easy read. It's like 255 pages, and in like 40 minutes I have almost read 100 pages, so I'm like literally almost done with this book, and so I might actually finish it in one day, which I probably could actually finish it today. I'm going to buy, which I'm kind of late on this trend, but I want to buy the set of the To All the Boys I Loved Before series. The second movie is coming out in February, and by the time I'm done reading those 3 books, it will be when the movie comes out, I believe. And so I wanted to read those, and instead of reading the book scavenger books, because I want to read those, I'm just like wanting to read a different series because a movie is coming out from that series. But anyways, yes, so that is kind of where my January TBR is changing to. I don't physically have the books to show you, but you know what books I'm talking about if you have heard of the To All the Boys I Loved Before book. I have very exciting things happening in the next couple of weeks, so I am super stoked to be back on YouTube and back filming. So make sure to subscribe and join my little YouTube family, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!